I don't think that I've actually talked about electric cars on my YouTube channel very much, if at all, but I've actually thought they're really interesting and cool for many years. And right now, we are going through like a transition to electric cars all around the world, and I think it's really interesting to watch that happen. And actually, a lot of US states and countries around the world have already said that they're banning the sale of gas-powered cars by like a certain year in the future. And the United States has already said that we want to have 50% of our new car sales to be electric cars by 2030, which is only like 8 years away, a little bit less than that actually. And if you guys saw the Super Bowl a few months ago, you might have noticed that there were several car commercials, but I believe they were all for electric cars. There were like 6 or 7 electric car commercials, and then there was one for a charger to plug your car in your garage, I think. And I think it's interesting that so many car companies are like using the biggest commercial of the year or whatever on showing their new electric cars, because that's like the future of their business pretty much. And General Motors actually said that they're not going to sell gas-powered cars after 2035. And so like they're coming out with a bunch of electric cars between now and then, and they're like switching all of their cars to electric by 2035. So I just thought all of this was pretty cool to see. So I pretty much made this video to talk about my thoughts and concerns about this transition over the next few decades, or at least some of the things that I thought were most interesting and problems that might need to get worked out in the future. So first of all, a lot of people probably think that there's way too few electric car chargers for everybody to have electric cars. And for now, that is probably true, because even now there are electric car chargers in certain places that are like having lines where people are having to wait to charge their car. But companies are also starting to build electric car chargers at a rapid pace right now, and I'm sure they will continue that over the next few years. So I think that'll probably get resolved, and there will be several electric car chargers around you by the time like everyone has electric cars. And you might also be wondering about like the electric grid, because many people think that the electric grid is not going to be able to handle everyone having electric cars. And if everybody did get electric cars like today, then that's probably true. It wouldn't be able to handle it. But people are going to be switching to electric cars over the next probably a couple decades or so. And so I think by then the electrical grid will be much bigger than it is now and be able to support all these new electric cars. Another thing that I think is kind of interesting is that Tesla has like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, charging network around the world. But for now, almost all of those chargers are only reserved for Tesla owners. And that seems like an issue because, I mean, all these car companies are starting to make electric cars, and there's already so many Tesla superchargers that people are just not able to access. And recently Tesla has said that they're going to open the supercharger network for all electric cars, and they've already started doing this in parts of Europe. But the thing that I'm wondering about is like, to be able to use them with your non-Tesla, you have to download the Tesla app and make a Tesla account, and then like tell it what supercharger you're using and then pay through the Tesla app. So I'm curious, like, that just seems weird that like if I owned a Ford electric car that I would need the Tesla app to charge at Tesla chargers. Because like with that, you can imagine like if every car company had their own charging network and you had to have every company's app to use them, that just seems weird. And that probably won't happen because probably Tesla is the only one that's going to be doing this, hopefully. But I just think that's weird that like no matter what electric car you have, you need the Tesla app to use Tesla chargers. But like I said, the Tesla supercharger network isn't open to non-Tesla owners in the US for now, but it should be soon. Another concern of mine that I think will probably get worked out in the future is that Tesla superchargers use a proprietary connector, which means like Tesla built their own connector to charge their cars and it doesn't work with any other company. And so like even if they did open the supercharger network to other companies, then like Teslas are the only one that has that charging port. And I believe that Tesla has said that they're going to start eventually switching the supercharging network to have the standard connector to work with all electric cars. But I feel like that might take a long time to get all of the Tesla superchargers switched out with the standard plug, and I feel like at some point Tesla should start considering manufacturing their cars to use the standard plug so that it's like a universal thing and it doesn't matter where you charge. But I don't know, they'll probably get that figured out at some point in the not super far future. One thing that I think is really useful for people who do have electric cars is being able to charge from their house. And so if you have an electric car charger installed into your garage, then you'll just be able to plug in your car every night and then wake up every day with a full charge. And so what that means is that for probably the vast majority of the time that you're using your car, you'll just be able to use it throughout the day and then plug it in when you get back home and not have to charge anywhere else outside your house for most of the time, unless you're going on like a road trip or something. But one bad thing about this, for now at least, is that if you live in an apartment or somewhere that you don't have a garage, is that you don't get to charge at home. But I'm hoping as time goes on, it'll become more standard for apartments and things like that to offer charging for their residents. And I think that doing this would save people a lot of time and also make the apartment more appealing for people to rent, knowing that they can just charge their car overnight. Another concern that I have about electric cars is like the resources that it takes to make the batteries. So right now, I believe that most electric car batteries are made from lithium ion and nickel and cobalt. And so I'm wondering what will happen if we ever ran out of those resources. But I think that probably eventually there will be a recycling program set up so that like once you're done with your car or the battery's worn out or something, then you'll be able to take it to be recycled and then they can use those minerals again in a new battery. Or at least that's the ideal situation, I think. And so even though that I listed out like a few of my concerns about electric cars, I'm really excited for the future and I think it's really cool to see this happen. I don't drive an electric car at the moment, but hopefully that will change within the next few years, I hope. And another nice thing about electric cars is that there's less maintenance to do on them because there's not an engine. Because for gas cars, there's an entire engine full of moving parts that could go wrong or that need maintenance or something. But with electric cars, there's really just like the motor that moves the wheels. And so you'll need a lot less maintenance on electric cars, which I think will save a lot of people a lot of money. So anyway, I think that's all for this video. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about the transition to electric cars, and I think it's really interesting to be able to watch this happen. So thank you guys for watching. Bye!